Hi, everyone. I'm Bill,
I'm Justin.
and welcome to
Couch
Review.
Reviews.
And welcome to our postseason review of
The Falcon.
and the Winter Soldier.
All right. So it's finally over. The show's been over for about a week now. We were trying to get this out a little bit earlier, but life gets in the way.
Life does get in the way.
We're here now, and we're ready to talk all things Falcon and Winter Soldier, where the show went, what we thought worked, what we thought didn't work. But before that, a little recap of what happened in the show.
The show so far.
The show so far is focusing on Sam and Bucky being forced to work together to take down the Flag Smashers, led by Carly Morgenthau, a revolutionary group looking to return the world to the post-blip state and eliminate the borders so that they are not repatriated, as that is the backdrop to the entire show. Is the global repatriation committee is looking to send everyone back to the original countries, and even though people have moved on, they're trying to make it easier for those who just returned. And it seems like they're kind of sideswiping the other people. So the Flag Smashers, they want to do something about that. They took super soldier serum from a character known as the Power Broker. And they are going to do something about it. Yeah, their plan wasn't really that well defined. We didn't know what their plan really was until like the last 2 episodes when it actually happened. But Falcon and Sam, desperate to get to Carly and the Flag Smashers, and desperate not to work with John Walker, the new Captain America, who's kind of a dick.
Kind of is.
And was established by the government. They break out Zemo from prison, who we find out is a Baron and is actually a very, very fun character.
He really is.
In this show, he's not really that villainous. He's more scheming than villainous.
So he's not with his top hat and his mustache and twisting it, and
well, he is very in character with what the MCU established. Hates the concept of super soldiers, which is very evident in this. And that takes any precedence over any scheming that may take place, because this whole time we thought, okay, he's going to double cross Sam and Bucky and become the main villain. That never happens. He has 2 goals in the show: destroy the super soldiers and the serum, and to visit the memorial of those who are lost in Sokovia. He achieves both of those goals, which makes his track record in the MCU scarily scarily high. He's never really failed in anything except taking his own life. So they're looking for the power. They're looking for Carly. They go to Madripoor where they're looking for where they get a tip about someone called the Power Broker who commissioned the super soldier serum. But now that there's only a limited supply left in the world, that's left as a dead end for these characters. We never really focus on the Power Broker on Sam and Bucky's side. The Power Broker more becomes something of a boogeyman to the Flag Smashers. And while we're in Madripoor, we meet Sharon Carter, who we learned got really shafted by the US government after the events of Civil War. She never got a pardon. So she's very bitter about that. But now we get to see, okay, she might be up to something shady by the end of episode 3. So now, here we are at the end of that. What's being set up is a mystery of who the Power Broker is. What's the Flag Smashers' plans? And what's going to happen with Zemo? What's going to happen with John Walker? And boy, do we get answers.
Then in episode 4.
Episode 4, we get a lot more Zemo. And we get the payoff to that interesting cliffhanger in episode 3, where Ayo from the Dorman Lodge from Wakanda
Forever.
Is after Zemo because, Zemo killed King T'Chaka. So obviously the concept of breaking him out of prison is complete heresy, hearsay to the Wakandans. And this is, and considering how close Bucky and Io are, because she's the one who really helped him get over the programming of Hydra. This is a complete betrayal of her trust. And boy, does she let him know. She gives him like 48 hours to get what needs to be done. That doesn't happen because guess who fucks that up?
Who?
John Walker. Captain America.
When
I'm not gonna call him Captain America. I'm gonna call him Captain America. Because that's the vibe that he gives off.
Like, what do you mean, like Captain America versus Captain America?
Like, Captain America is someone who wants to be the change that would be best for America. He wants to be the best version of America. Where Captain America just does whatever the government says. Captain America, World Police.
Yeah, well, they're about to go arrest Carly.
And, Sam seems to be talking her down pretty well because, he is a counselor, as we saw from Captain America Winter Soldier. He is a counselor to veterans. And
he can kind of see where Carly is coming from too.
yeah, so he understands Carly on a level that no one else on the show can. And a lot of that comes from his experience as a black man in America.
Yeah,
but
by the way,
then
race does play a big part in a lot of this,
it plays a huge part,
and we'll get to more
especially
a little later.
in the identity of the show, and it all makes for a better show in the end. Excuse me one moment. I'm a little hungry.
Okay. But yeah, we'll talk more about the racial stuff in a sec. But
anyways, he seems to almost get to Carly, but then Johnny Walker can't wait 5 fucking minutes. Because he can't take the pressure of being of bearing that shield. Especially as someone who's not a super soldier. And that is a big insecurity of his. So he goes in, guns blazing, and all goodwill earned by Sam at that point in Carly is all but destroyed. And they almost get her. Zemo destroys almost every serum, every vial of the super soldier serum except for one. And who finds that one? Fucking John Walker.
you do not like John Walker, do you?
Well, at this point, we're not supposed to like John Walker. And I'll get to that later, but. And then later when Carly has escaped, Zemo's recaptured by the heroes. And the Dora Milaje comes back to pick up Zemo. And they're about to hand him off. And then fucking John Walker. There's one thing you don't do. Is you do not disrespect a member of the Dora Milaje by putting your hand on her shoulder. To do that is such a dismissive move, and he gets his ass whooped. And they weren't even super soldiers.
And then John Walker's sidekick.
Hang on. In the heat of the battle, Sam and Bucky join in. Io disarms Bucky, literally. And in that moment, that's really when the relationship between the two characters is really crumbling. In the manner Zemo escapes, so it looks bad on everyone's end. John Walker's at a really new low. So he's talking to Lamar. He's like, Lamar, if you had the opportunity to take the serum, would you? You'd be
And he
like,
says yes.
hell yeah. Hell yeah. You know, power like that just makes someone more of themselves, right?
Absolutely.
So Carly threatens Sam's sister. To tell Sam to meet her alone. Sam doesn't meet her alone, so part of me is wondering, okay, so what was the point of that whole thing? Like, we know that she's not gonna actually go after the sister. And she doesn't. So Carly's interesting because at some points she's actually a really strongly defined character, and others she makes decisions and you're like, you're not very good at this, are you? Anyways, Sam again tries to talk her down. John Walker shows up. Now he's roided out on super soldier serum. And there's a skirmish. Lamar gets killed by by Carly. And Walker loses
his shit.
He becomes the anti-Cap in that moment. Like, a lot of the imagery is mirroring Cap. The superhero landing, the way he holds the shield, like there's mirror images. But he gets one of the flag smashers
and basically beats him to death.
Decapitates him in front of the whole world while the world watches Captain America kill a national. Blood's on the shield. I can't help but think of Macbeth in this, where Lady Macbeth is trying to get the blood out of her hands, out damned spot.
Yeah.
And John Walker, he's trying to rationalize himself, like, he killed Lamar, but he didn't kill Lamar. It wasn't him. So he's lying to himself so that he can lie to everyone. Like, he is so committed to this idea that this person killed Lamar that he's lying to himself about it. And Sam, being the counselor, trying to talk him down. John, listen. Maybe they'll consider your record. Maybe it'll just be an other than honorable discharge. And then he says, just put the shield down. Mistake. Sam has the right ideas, and most of the time, he's just, sometimes circumstances just are not in his favor. And that time, he just chose the wrong words, because that triggers him. And he's like, so this is what it's about. You're never going to be Captain America. I'm Captain America. And he goes nuts. And he's trying to kill Sam and Bucky. And luckily, through their teamwork, they eventually incapacitate him. They get the shield from him. However, John kind of destroyed Sam's wings. in the process. It's an insane fight. But now Sam's grounded. The US government's taking point now because what John did caused an international incident. John gets an other than honorable discharge, and the government decides against court-martialing him, which honestly probably is a mistake, but we'll see where that leads us.
And he is no longer Captain America.
Oh yeah, he stripped the title of Captain America. But then this mysterious woman of the name, and bear with us, Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, but call her Val, but not aloud, just in your head. Yeah, that's how she introduced herself. Played by Mary Louise Dreyfus,
AKA Elaine from Seinfeld.
Elaine from Seinfeld. She like pops into John's life and has like this very, am I smarter than you? Am I 2 steps ahead of you? Or am I 3? I might be 4. No, it's more like 3. Could be 5 though. Like she has that kind of air about her. Like how many steps ahead is she? And she tells her, listen, Captain America, that shield, it's not owned by the government. They don't want you to know that, but it's not. It's kind of like this legal gray area, actually. So this is the point of the show where, you know, the heroes are licking their wounds, spending time at home. We're building the bonds of a better friendship. And we're doing things a little separate for about 10 minutes. You know, Bucky goes off to do his own thing by tracking down Zemo. He went to go visit the Sokovia Memorial. Apparently he was going to kill Zemo, but opted against it and decided to just hand him over to the Wakandans, who brought him over to the raft.
Yeah. And also going on, you have this also subplot, but I would say it's the bridge between the A plot and the B plot.
The boat.
The boat that Sam and his sister are planning on selling their family's boat. And the whole community chips in to help with something.
Yeah, so in the comics, Sam Wilson's actually a New Yorker. They actually changed that for the show. Because, well, what we saw with the whole boat subplot is actually really well done. And B, you know, Anthony Mackie, he's from New Orleans. He's a Southern boy. This was their way of making it a deeper connection between Anthony Mackie's portrayal of Sam Wilson, and it showed really strongly here. And you know what? It led to some great bonding moments between Sam and Bucky. it shows Sam still willing to believe in America. We get more of Isaiah Bradley. You know, we get to see what exactly happened to him to make him so bitter about the world and so broken. And he tells us America will never accept a black Captain America.
Because he was
And no
thrown in
self
jail and everything.
and experimented on for 30 years. And the only reason he got out is because a nurse took pity on him and declared him dead. And they wiped away his history.
You want to know something? I think this is actually based off the Tuskegee syphilis experiment.
Yes, it is. It's
Oh,
definitely a parallel that they're that Isaiah Bradley was conceived over.
that when they injected like diseases into young black men in Tuskegee from like the 30s, I think up until like the 70s.
Mhm.
So I think, and he goes, "Hey, I'll clear your name," and he goes, "No, let me stay dead." And that's kind of two themes right there: the racial themes and the distrust of the U.S. government.
Mhm. And also two viewpoints, Isaiah Bradley's the more jaded viewpoint. Like he's the one that's like, hate against us is so intertwined with our nation. We're never gonna get better. I'm never gonna trust the government. I'm never gonna trust the white man. Where Sam Wilson comes from a place more of tough love. We can do better. Like he still believes in America, but he believes America can do better.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, in like the rest of episode 5, the last couple of minutes I thought was so cool.
It was really cool to see the training montages in the 5th episode. Sam Wilson really getting into shape to be Captain America because he doesn't have super soldier serum too.
And he's just like throwing the shield.
Yep, he's training. He's really putting in the work to become Captain America.
And then at the end of the episode, he's officially
Not yet. He opens up a little present that Bucky got him from the Wakandans. A new suit, which he unveils in New York, where a vote's being held for the repatriation of the world, where the Flag Smashers plans to take all the delegates hostage. And then Sam flies in as Captain America. And the suit is straight out of the comics.
and it looked amazing.
He is that's probably one of the most comic accurate portrayals of his suit without becoming silly. Because in the comics, Sam Wilson's wings aren't mechanical. They're something else, but they're not organic either. I don't really remember what it is, but they definitely made him more of a believable character in the MCU with the mechanical wings, and it looks fantastic here.
It really does. And then the fight scenes in episode 6.
Fight scenes are handled really, really well. The director of the show has worked on episodes of like The Punisher, so she knows action. And they really went in this trying to make this look like a movie. And you see Carly going deeper and deeper into her insanity, where even the Flag Smashers are like, "You're kind of nuts."
And it's
You
weird
know,
with Sam and Bucky. John Walker lends a hand.
yeah. At first, he just wants revenge on Carly, but when he sees that all these delegates are about to die, because Carly is viewing this as a no-win situation, so she was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna kill them. John actually goes in to try to save the day by rescuing the hostages, rescuing them from the van. Not doing the best job because the Flag Smashers are also attacking him. Then Sam and Bucky lend a hand, and they get them to safety. Then you also have Batroc is back from the first episode. Batroc the Leaper, played by GSP.
Mm-hmm.
We find out that in the 5th episode that he seems to be in league with both Carly and Sharon, which enhanced our beliefs that Sharon might be the power broker. And it's eventually confirmed in this episode that yes, that is indeed the case. Sharon Carter is the power broker.
It is officially confirmed.
So what do you think about that?
That Sharon Carter is the power worker.
Yeah.
I kind of saw it coming.
Do you
So,
what do you think of that for her character though?
what do you mean for her character?
Like, we've seen where her characters come from the Captain America movies to where she is now. What do you think of this progression?
I think it's interesting because with the you can kind of see like her frustration about how she was never pardoned and just like her distrust of America.
Yeah. That's definitely how it started. And it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here, because the only people who knew that she was a power broker, they died in this episode. So it's going to be interesting where the MCU takes this character from here. I'm really going to be intrigued by that.
Yeah, me too.
Batroc dies by Sharon's hand because Jock tried to blackmail her into more money. In which case she's just like, no, bang.
And then
Um,
the
huge
scene,
conference. Go ahead.
the scene that I love when the old black guy is saying, "Hey, Black Falcon," like, no,
No, that's Captain America.
I don't know. That scene just got me excited for some reason.
It's progress, you know. People are willing to have a black Captain America. There are going to be some people who are going to hate him for it, and that's addressed. But the world does seem to be, for the most part, ready. And, you know, there's a huge confrontation between Carly and Sam, which Sam refuses to fight. Kind of like how Cap refused to fight Bucky in The Winter Soldier in the climax of The Winter Soldier. So it was mostly a one-sided fight, and it's interesting to see Carly constantly tell Sam to stay down. And I was like, oh, you do not tell a black man to stay down. You don't say that anymore. So I was like, that had to be an intentional line for subtext. You know, it was like,
Absolutely. But yeah, what I have to say though is and also that speech that Sam, the new Captain America, gives.
yeah. So after Carly eventually dies because Sharon actually kills her, um, Sam flies into the crowd of reporters and the senators and make sure everyone's okay. Holding Carly's body, has a huge conversation between the senator and eventually just the world about how America can do better and how, you know, finally these senators understand their struggles. So now it's time to have these difficult conversations and not just push away our problems. So yeah, that speech is really something.
And you know what? It kind of ties into that whole Sam does not approve of what Harley's been doing, but he understands why she's doing it
Hmm.
because it is a frustration. And he says, people like you folks in power, you kind of cause these things.
Hmm.
We don't like to get political here, but it's kind of
And
true.
a big theme of the show is, the government don't want to accept responsibility, so they'll put the blame on other people. They put the blame on John Walker for what happened with that flag smasher, but John had a point. He was trained to do what he did, and the government made him. And once the government sees something that they don't like, they they cast him out for it. They don't want to accept responsibility that they created a monster.
Exactly.
Um, the rest of the Flag Smashers die in an explosion caused by Zemo's butler, which was pretty fun. They were apprehended by Bucky and John Walker, who is now, I guess, a good guy. But now he's no longer Captain America. He is now a US agent.
Yeah, I remember. He's now a U.S. agent.
It's the same costume, but black.
And I just love the end when Sam, or should we now say,
Captain America.
goes to see Isaiah Bradley and takes him to
The Captain America exhibit in the Smithsonian, where there is now a statue dedicated to him. His history has been restored. His story's been told. And there's just a powerful moment of Isaiah hugging Sam, thanking him.
and the way this ends, they show the title Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they turn it into
Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
again.
Except now there's an and.
And you know what this is all the big setup for. A few days after this wrapped up,
Captain America 4 was announced.
and Sam Torres is going to be the new Captain America.
Yep.
And I have to say, I'm very satisfied because you know what I was expecting, and I'm glad they didn't do it.
What were you expecting?
I was thinking that they were going to find some way to bring Steve Rogers back. Because there was talks about it.
I doubt they're ever going.
Because there were talks about like, oh, Chris Evans may come back. And I'm like thinking, no.
I don't see him ever coming back for anything more than like a cameo. Unless they do Secret War. That is the only way I will give them a pass for bringing back Chris Evans.
And you've heard me say this. The reason why I'd be furious if that would happen is on Endgame, Steve Rogers' story ended, perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Gets to be with Peggy, has his dance. Like, it ended perfectly. And I'm so glad they didn't try to find a way to bring it back. But I think did Sam become Captain America in the comics, or?
Yeah. In the comics, Steve Rogers lost the super soldier serum from his body, so his body just started to rapidly age to the point where he was over 100 years old. Still alive, but old. So he retired and gave the shield to Sam.
Yeah, so anyway.
But Steve eventually got better.
So anyway, what I liked about this, I really liked the series.
Mm-hmm. I liked it. I do think the villain could have been better. I do think Zemo was a lot of fun, but I do kind of wish they did more with him.
I kind of wish they made John Walker more the villain.
Well, they're definitely saving him up for something. I think they're either gonna do Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers. Cause the character of Contested Valentina Allegra de Fontaine was supposed to be in Black Widow first. So I think she's assembling her own Dark Avengers.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. Cause you'd have John Walker as like as a US agent. You can have I think they're gonna have Yelena Belova, who's gonna premiere in Black Widow, become the new Black Widow. Which I think is part of the reason why they're doing Black Widow after Endgame, is to kind of introduce the new Black Widow to the world.
Kind of agree.
And there's other characters that you can go to from the comics and the movies where you can create your own Dark Avengers.
Yeah. Um. Wait, what are the Dark Avengers?
The Dark Avengers is an Avengers team that they, to the public, are supposed to be good guys, but thanks to who formed them, are actually formed for more nefarious purposes.
Ooh.
The Dark Avengers in the comics was formed by Norman Osborn. It consisted of Scorpion as Venom, or Dark Spider-Man. Um, had this one character as kind of like the anti-Miss Marvel. Dakin was the Dark Wolverine. Bullseye was like the Dark Hawkeye. You had Ragnarok, who was an android created to be like a replacement for Thor.
Yeah.
Um, and then Norman Osborn was Iron Patriot.
So it's all like the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I think yeah, like I said, I would have liked to see John Walker more as the villain and have like that final fight between him and Sam.
Mm.
Because
But
like
I do like the fight that we got in episode 5, though.
yeah, because what I was seeing is I thought John Walker was going to go just from being an asshole to being an absolute monster.
Mm.
But yeah, what he did was absolutely horrifying. But that wasn't more him becoming a monster. That was before he just snapped. Not excusing what he did, but you get what I'm saying, Justin, or do I sound like I'm losing it?
Yes, but then he started to try and justify his actions. And that becomes a slippery slope. But he does still try to do the right thing in the end. So he's an asshole with redeeming qualities who just wants to try and do the right thing. But he can't take the pressure of the title of Captain America. And I think now that he's not Captain America, instead of being a US agent, I think the pressure of being Captain America is off of him. I think he can be his own character now that he doesn't have any shoes to fill.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm interested to see where the character of DeFontaine goes, because in the comics, it's confusing. She starts as like a hero spy who double crosses, triple crosses, she's super manipulative. But eventually she's revealed to be a Hydra agent, a sleeper agent for Hydra, and eventually becomes Madam Hydra. But we don't find that out until like 35 years after she premiered. So I have no idea where Marvel's going to go with that character, which is actually pretty fun. It's fun not to know things in the MCU.
Yeah, because it makes you excited for what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and when the MCU deviates from the comics, they do so in an organic way where you buy it, because sometimes when you break from the comics, a franchise will do so that just doesn't work, because it goes against a character or something like that. But the characters in the MCU are so established that and the storytellers for the MCU are so talented that they can deviate from the source material and create something very strong.
Yeah.
So of the two shows now, which is your favorite?
I'm gonna have to
WandaVision
say Falcon.
Yeah.
What about you?
So WandaVision, I think, had higher highs and lower lows. I loved
I
the
like
idea
it's a
of
very
WandaVision.
tight race, but I think WandaVision, I really like how like the different sitcoms were all tied in.
WandaVision definitely felt like a television show, where this felt more like a movie.
I actually think the same thing.
This definitely felt like a really strong buddy cop movies along the lines of Lethal Weapon.
And I think how to describe this, like in the first part, in like the first review, I think we may have said this. We said like how Sam and Bucky do not want to work with each other.
No.
It's like that when you have a friend who has this friend you do not like,
Mhm.
and something happens to the guy you're friends with, and you're forced to hang out with that friend of your
Yeah.
friend you can't stand. But like,
And then that friend
when
goes away.
when your main friend is around and the friend you don't like is there, you're still civil towards that friend,
Mm,
towards your friend's friend, because you want to be respectful to your friend.
right.
And that's like when that friend goes away and you're stuck with your friend's friend, Get what I'm saying?
Yep, no, I got you.
And you
Yeah,
absolutely freaking hate it.
yeah, and this movie definitely hits all the beats for a good buddy cop movie. Two guys having to work together when they really do not want to.
Basically, listen, I don't like you, you don't like me. We got to
But we
work.
gotta get this done. So let's get this done so we never have to talk to each other again. And then by the 2 hour mark, you're like, you know what? You're all right. You're all right too.
And they become buddies.
Yep.
Now they're buddies again.
Yeah, and you know what? They definitely seem like buddies by the end of this show. They're joking around at the end. Bucky's flirting with Sam's sister. So it's a lot of fun. And Sharon finally gets that pardon, which we don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet. They're implying it's a bad thing.
But we'll see. So, yeah, so Captain America 4 is in development now.
Yep.
Because this,
Malcolm Spellman is expected to return as the writer. We don't know about a director yet, but
because all these series, folks, they're set up for movies.
mhm.
Like
Um,
WandaVision was the setup for the new Doctor Strange. This is the setup for Captain America 4.
yes, and probably they're going to be setting up like either Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers too with John Walker. Now, who would you want to direct a Captain America for? Because I don't think the
Ooh.
Russo brothers are going to come back.
Oh God. Well, who else could they get?
No, who would be cool?
Oh,
Antoine Fuqua.
what did he do?
Um, Training Day.
Hmm.
He did that remake of the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
And he's done a few movies with I think he's done a few movies with Denzel.
Hmm. I don't know who would specifically be good for a Marvel film.
I think it'd be interesting to see what he would do.
Yeah. It really would depend on the tone. Is it going to be more serious, or is it going to be more,
Well, if it's one of the movies, I think they're gonna go a little lighter on tone because they won't have enough as much time to really delve into the deeper stuff, which they were trying to really do with the show. That was a reason why they were doing a show and not a movie, so they could kind of deep dive into these ideas like Isaiah Bradley. Um, so I don't know,
it's
but
it's
it's
gonna
gonna
be
be fun.
it's gonna be fun to see where they go from here.
Absolutely. So I
I,
think it goes without saying that we definitely recommend this show to anyone who loves Marvel.
yes, and we highly recommend. I would say on the scale, pay for it yourself.
Yeah, this is a subscription service seller. Um, the Triple S.
I would
So
agree. So Now, I want to just talk a little bit. Okay, like I don't know what we're gonna be doing for a bit because the next series doesn't start till June, and that is
Hmm.
Loki.
We were
So
supposed to be getting Black Widow this month, but that got pushed back to July. Now, there are some movies we could do. I just saw Mortal Kombat the other night. So maybe we can do a review of that.
we would do Godzilla vs Kong, but here's the quick version of that review. Justin,
It's dumb. It's fun. Watch it in another state of mind.
yeah, so we'll do Mortal Kombat. Maybe we'll do what else?
A lot of the Warner Brothers movies we could do. I know Star Wars just had a show drop recently called The Bad Batch. It's
Yes.
it's an animated show that takes place after the Clone Wars.
Does that have any connection to the Mandalorian or no?
It's all connected. It's all canon.
So yeah, we'll figure something out for you folks.
Mm-hmm.
Like in June, I want to do In the Heights.
Okay.
So we'll get stuff for you folks. We promise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also check. Well, it means me and sometimes Justin out over on the Super Review Show.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically a part-time member now, so
Yeah, we do some fun stuff on that channel. Check out the show we did a few days ago on shows that we think just need to end, where Bill predicted the future.
yeah, I predicted the future. Go watch the episode. That'll explain everything, won't
Yep.
it? Okay, so that is our review of Falcon the Winter Soldier. Um, like I said, we'll see what we're gonna bring you for the next couple weeks.
Mhm.
We'll get you shit, we promise.
Yep.
And we'll see you then.
All right, folks.
Stay
Take
safe,
care.
like, comment, subscribe, and hit
Hit
that bell.
bell.
And we will see you soon. Stay safe and take care.
And since it's a Marvel movie, Excelsior.
Excelsior!